89 on up, homies, the show where you gon' get Cali history. It's told with respect and dignity. Spoken by Jihad so vividly. He's taking over the industry, giving y'all some download imagery. Damn you, if you ain't hitting them likes, come on, subscribe. Check out the channel and I bet it will make you decide to tune in every chance you get. It's lit, and some of y'all can learn a bit from this gangster shit.
YouTube, what it do, loved ones? You know the motto, if you can, after the story, go over there, hit us with a like, which is a thumbs up, and that'll let us know we kicking our stuff. I want to thank the homeboy G. Lee Deuce for the intro from the legendary Mental Historical Hip Hop album, Banging on Wax. You can reach him on Instagram at Solid from Day One. YouTube, what it do, loved ones? I was cutting it up with the little homeboy, and he said he was around some older OG homeboys, and they was talking about a cat named OG Pumpkin from Inglewood Family. And he hit me and asked me, was I familiar with the name OG Pumpkin from Inglewood Family? And to answer your question, I'm gonna serve you right now with the content. Yeah, I heard of OG Pumpkin from Inglewood Family and personally had a chance to meet the OG homie in the early 90s. And how I got a chance to meet the OG homeboy in the early 90s is that NHP family or hood is separate from family, but families and NHPs got a tight allied bond, homie. So we kind of mix in each other's turfs, you know, in the early 90s. And a lot of OG families kind of reside and stuck around our turf and banged and hanged with the Inglewood NHPs, homie. So at this time, we got a bar in our turf on La Brea and Centinela, right by Ravs. But back in the days, it was a boys' market. And right where it's a bookstore on that corner, but back in the days, in my young time, it was a bar right there, homie. And that bar was active, homie. You know, homies done had it out there and all that, right? So bam, anyway, homie, neighborhood power rules hung in that bar. Inglewood families hung in that bar. Villains hung in that bar. You would catch some swans up in there. You would catch a jungle. You would catch a 20. So that bar was a blood bar back in that days, homie, because it reside in our turf. And you know, it's hell of a when you got a bar inside your turf, kind of like the heart of your turf, walking distance at different spots, because back then, or when it's bored in your turf, you can hit these spots, still have a cocktail, hustle, grind, and catch an atmosphere. So anyway, homie, you know, early 90s, the block is eucalyptus at that time, homie, and dudes from different turfs is falling out, and they kind of like fall to the neighborhood power rules, homie, you know, especially OG homies from Inglewood family. So bam, this eucalyptus days, homie, nighttime kind of hit, it's kind of blunt. So I'm like, I'm gonna bail up to the bar, homie. And the Ethiopians kind of like ran the bar. They owned it. And so they used to sell food up there, like on like that big bread, fufu bread or whatever, with like meat all over it and stuff. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna bail up to the bar, grab something to eat, because I like that fufu, like, you know, grabbing the bread with the meat or whatever. I'm like, man, I'm gonna bail up there, grab some of that, and flex back to the block. So bam, as I'm pushing down up Eucalyptus, cut back down Plymouth, and get the belling towards La Brea to hit the bar, I'm pushing up in there. I get up in there, bam. So when I push up in there, as soon as I step in, I kind of like scan the joint, homie, just looking around. seeing who up in there. But at the time of me, when I pushed through the front entrance and looked around, I wound up scanning the bar area, where the long bar area, so it's people at the bar. So at the midst of me scanning, I see a dude at the bar. He kind of like cut eyes with me and got his face all squinched up with like some little vampire and Brooklyn type glasses, kind of tilt him down, squinched down looking. So I'm like looking at him like, looking in the bar, cause remind you, it be homies in there, but every bar in certain hoods, homie, sometimes you got outside entities that try to slip in with a female casual, go try to have a drink with a female and get up out of there, because either the bra said it's cool, dudes don't be tripping, or whatever, but we all didn't try to do it. So anyway, I'm thinking the way he looking like this, I ain't familiar with his face. I think he a undercover rip up in there, older cat, undercover rip up in there and shit. So when he do all that and put his glasses back on and turn back towards the front of the bar where the drinks at, I start making my way, belling over there, making my way. So I get on the side of him, and I dish everything in my youthful young time. I'm like, I say my name and stuff, Big G Hal, Inglewood neighborhood power rule. Fuck whoopty 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 whop. I run down the whole roll call and I bell off on him. In the midst of me belling off, I turn around, I see him do that squinting again. So I go tell the, I see the homies up in here, so I go tell the homies, I'm like, hey, blood, I think it's an undercover whoopty wop up in here. Niggas like, where, homie? A couple older homies like, where? We been up in here for a couple hours. Where, homie? So, bam, I tell the homies, I'm like, the nigga right there, the short, brown-skinned nigga right there, I think that nigga one of them things or something, homie. What niggas want to do? So the homies start laughing and shit. So I'm like, blood, what's so funny? In my younger time, like, blood, what's so funny? They like, that nigga a homie. You know what I'm saying? That's an OG from Inglewood family, homie. OG Pumpkin. I said, oh, is that right? They was like, blood, you don't want to get into it with that nigga. You ain't gonna be able to sell no crack, bail through the hood. You gonna be getting into it with that nigga, popping it out with that nigga and everything, man. That nigga with the business, homie. So I was like, is that right? So I'm like, man, I'm gonna go over there and holler at that cat, man. You know what I'm saying? Introduce myself, dog. I ain't trying to get into it with a nigga like that, especially if he a homie. This is what I tell the OG homeboys and the other homies and shit. So I bail back over there. I'm like, what's happening, blood? I'm like, no disrespect, homie. I didn't know you was a homie and all that shit. So he cut his glasses down again. And he looking, and I realized the OG homeboy eyes was like kind of cross-eyed a little bit. He was like, yeah, blood, OG Pumpkin, Inglewood family. I was like, yeah, man. I was like, I'm just holding it down in the turf, homie. I didn't know. He was like, yeah, I like what you doing, homie. You a little rider, homie, from neighborhood power rule. And we shook hands, homie. And from then, after that, every time he used to see me in the turf, he'll roll past, give it up on me. And when I seen him up at the bar again, he'll tell other dudes like, yeah, young blood, he a solid little NISP. He a rider from over here, homie. But 89 on up, G stuff, not Ye stuff. And that's the time I had a run in and got a chance to meet a legendary, monumental, historical homeboy, OG Pumpkin, out the Inglewood families, homie. And I'ma just keep sending history and speaking on different homeboys and different topics because it's needed. A lot of young homeboys, they heard of some of the homeboys, but never heard details or descriptions or styles and characters of certain homeboys. So 89 on up, where content come to life, you're gonna be able to catch it. Shout out to the OG homeboy Pumpkin, family in peace, Inglewood family. We out.